Hey, once again, today we're going to go ahead and look at expanding on our factoring of our quadratics. So up until this point, everything that we've been doing has been in this form. And the biggest idea with everything that we've been doing is it's just been x squared, or I could say 1x squared. And that's all we've had for everything that we've done up to this point. Now today, we are going to go ahead and start factoring with a leading coefficient. Is this going to change what our answer is going to look like? Absolutely not. It's still going to be two answers, but how we arrive at that answer becomes a little bit more difficult. So in the past we've looked at, or I should say not necessarily in the past, but earlier today and in the last couple days, we've looked at using our box method to factor some of these things, and that's something we can continue to do, and I think that is the easiest. I'm going to talk about these options here in a little bit, but for right now, I think using our box method to factor is going to be the easiest. And again, how we do this is we make our box, and we're going to put whatever our x squared term is in one corner. It really doesn't matter which one, but I guess we usually use our top left corner. And then we're going to take our constant, so our number without any x's. In this case, it's a positive 5, and I'm going to put that in the opposite one. So that's the biggest deal, is these have to be opposite. Now, here's where, kind of the idea of our box method comes into play, is if I were to multiply these two together right now, 2x, or basically I'm really just concerned with the number, 2 times 5 would be 10. All right, and now we can do this like our pre-factoring puzzles that we did before. So what multiplies to 10 that adds to, what's our middle number? 11, okay? And now this would be, of course, 1 and 10. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these numbers in the box. So I'm going to put one of them here and one of them here. Okay? Now the only kind of magic or something a little bit different here is I have to include an x on these. All right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to factor each of these spots based on either the column or the row. So first of all, I'm going to look at this column right here. All right? Now, what do both of those things have in common? Well, 2 goes into 2 and into 10, so I can take a 2 out, and then they both share an x. So I'm going to put a 2x here. Now I'm going to look at my second column. All right? 1x and 5, they have nothing in common. Well, hey, everything has a 1 in common for a factor. So I have a 2x plus 1 on the top. Now I'm going to look at my rows. Okay, so what does this row have in common? Well, 1x or an x. And then finally, my last row down here, what do these have in common? These would share a positive 5. And now, what I have on my sides is those are my factors. 2x plus 1 and x plus 5. All right, let's look at another one with our box method. So again, make the box, put my x squareds in one corner, put my constant in the other. Now if I multiply those together, I get 6. I'm looking for things that multiply to 6 that add to 5. So 2 and 3 multiply to 6 and add to 5. So I'd put my 2x here and my 3x there. And then again, we're looking at our columns and rows. What do they have in common? These ones share a 3x. These ones share a 2. These ones share an x. And these ones would just be a 1. So 3x plus 2 and x plus 1 would be our factors. Okay. Now, the other way we can do this, and this is like what I have here, is listing your factors of a, meaning what number multiplies, or what are my possible factors of this, all right? So 1 and 2, okay? And then factors of C, well, what numbers multiply to negative 11? Negative 1 and 11, I would have 1 and negative 11, and that's really it, okay? And then what we can do is we can look for, all right, what are our combinations of numbers that multiply together to give me, or what combinations can I get, right, to get this number in the middle. So we need to try some different combos. So maybe I'm just going to start with these two combos here, all right, 1 and 2 and negative 1 and 11. And the idea is we have to multiply, all right, these together, and then if we add them together to get 21. So in this case, if I did 2 times 11, right, so this one times this one, I'd get 22. And then the other one, 1 times negative 1, if I add those together, I get, or excuse me, multiply those together, I get negative 1. Now if I combine these, I get 21, which is what I was looking for. So, what are my factors? Well, these were the factors of the front. These were the factors of the back. So I would have a 1x, or just an x, and a 2x, okay? And then my numbers, well, I had to multiply the 2 by 11, so I would put that here. So when I FOIL this out, I get 22, and then the negative 1 would go here. So, like I said, this is another way that we can work through it, but I really think that our box method is going to be the easiest. I wanted to show this one to you in case it does make sense to you. All right? But that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, last example I wanted to show you, and this is where if you notice, we can do some simplifying here. So if all of our terms have something in common, it is always going to be best or easiest to take that out first. If we can do that, it's going to make our life easiest. So 6, 9, and 27 all have a 3 in common. So if I can factor this out, I get 2x squared plus 3x minus 9, and then I can just go ahead and factor what's inside.